How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. This is part 2 of our Hitachi Excavator rebarrel and piston job. If you missed part 1, there'll be a link in the description for that where we manufactured the 2 new pistons. So today's job is going to be the rebarreling of the 2 Hitachi cylinder barrels we've got here in the workshop. We've had massive problems trying to get material this size. There's no honed or unhoned tube available, and what is available is just astronomical in money because people know there's a shortage on it. We ended up buying 2 pieces of 230mm by 80mm ID hollow bar, and we've had that bored and honed to 190mm. We managed to get our hands on one of the pieces of material we've brought in. This is a machine down situation, so this machine is not working at the moment. There are no spares for this machine, so it is very important we get this done as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping in the next day or two I'll get the other tube, and then we can start and manufacture the replacement barrel for the other side. So we're going to start on one at least. We've got it set up in the machine now. They do come standard with a center in the end of the barrel. It's part of the factory process of manufacturing, so we're going to utilize that. The reason I set barrels up in the machine and I pull them apart in a machine is once they're in here and they're all set up, I can then take all my measurements. I can put alignment marks where everything needs to align again, because the bolt holes in the end of the barrel need to align with the other end in the right spot, or the pipe work doesn't match up. And I can actually prep one end while it's in the machine. I then flip the job, take the other end off. I know a lot of people would just cut them in a saw and then reset them in a machine and do this and do that, but I have found it's just been way less setup, way less handling the jobs, and I know by measuring things up and using the center height of the machine as my reference points, I know everything's going to go back nice, straight and parallel, so that's why I do it like this. I'm just going to explain a few bits and pieces about why I do things a certain way. So I'm going to use a 12mm button insert for removing the weld. The reason for that is they're very robust. They're also a very narrow tool that can go really deep inside a weld without having to take too much either side of it to fit a larger tool in there. So they are quick, effective, and you can be pretty rough with them, and they just seem to take it. I also do not run coolant when I'm doing barrel work like this, because coolant will stop me from seeing how deep I am and where I'm at, and it will also stop any telltale signs that I'm getting close to the ID. So when I'm getting deep into this weld, I will come across a puff of smoke. It's actually hydraulic oil burning. That tells me I'm very close to the ID, that I need to slow down a little bit and just take my time to remove the last section of weld to break the barrel end free from the barrel. So the barrel eye come off pretty much perfectly, exactly how we want it to. Bit of heat on that was enough to release it to let it go. As you can see, that is fully machined now. It's fully prepped, ready to go on the new barrel. Now I'll flip it in the machine and we'll get the other end off it. I don't need to do any prep work to this just yet, so I'm just going to part it off to get the barrel and the head flange apart. I've then got to put the head flange back in the machine and turn the inside of that out to suit our new barrel. And I will be running coolant on the parting tools because I don't like running dry. So that was quicker than cutting it with a saw. What we're going to do now, I'm going to get this piece of barrel out of the machine. I'm probably going to go throw it straight in the bin because it's not usable for anything else, and I do have enough that I've hung on to over the years. I'll then get the head flange set up in the chuck. I'll do the machining I have to do to that. Then we'll get the barrel in the machine and get it ready to put the head flange on. Righto guys, so we've done all the prep work on the barrel head flange we needed to do. We're just about to throw the barrel up in the machine and start doing it. A few people have commented on the brass pads on my jaws on my lathe. So all of my lathes have this exact thing set up on them so I can grab the ID of parts without scratching them. All it was, I simply drilled and tapped a hole in them, bent up some of these little brass pads, and I just bolt them to the front so they can go on the outside of the jaws, on the inside of the jaws. The jaws are extremely hard, so you do need to get past that nitrated sort of level. It's not very deep. So all I did with these, I just marked out where I wanted them. Just avoid the edges that have been hardened and heat treated. I used an end mill, a carbide end mill, to spot them down about a mil. And then I simply drilled and tapped the hole. Once you get through that sort of top hardened layer, you don't have any dramas, and go from there. We've got it set up in the machine now. I am going to take a lick off the outside of this because it's not real straight. It's up and down all over the joint. That is just the material itself. The ID is nice and true, but the OD is a little bit all over the place, being that it is a mill finished product. That'll drive me up the wall, seeing that, doing that. The other reason I also want to do this is I do have some bands I need to machine on this for where the clamps go for the pipe work. Generally when I do a barrel and it's pre-honed, I will actually put my steady bands where the clamps go. That way nothing looks out of place. There's not a heap of steady bands set out all over the job. So in this case I didn't have the material when it got bored and honed, so they cut steady bands where they wanted to, and it's going to look pretty shit ass with 3 or 4 steady band areas cut in it. So I'm just going to take a skim off the outside to clean everything up, and then the tube will be nice, new, and look fantastic.
we get it?
Chomp me.
Come on, come on.
Righto guys, so we've just heat expanded our head flange onto the barrel. I like to give them about a 0.15 of a mil crush. So the barrel was 0.15 of a mil bigger than the head flange after I'd machined it. I then heat up the head flange to about 100 to 150 degrees. That causes that to expand. Then I drop it over the barrel. It lands on that little shoulder I machined into it so it can't fall any deeper. I have to do a weld around the inside where I relieve that area on the barrel, weld that to the head flange just to seal it off, and then we'll weld this joint here, throw it back in the machine and keep machining. Because I have to weld on the face of it, there is a possibility of getting spattered down the barrel. So I have caps. These come on some of our cylinder tubes. So I will actually stuff this down the barrel, about to that weld line there where I'm going to be welding. I'm going to spray the living shit out of it with any spatter spray. I'll weld it up and I will get the cap out before it starts to melt. So that's how we're going to avoid any spatter getting down our freshly honed barrel. 330 mil.
Good boy. Come on.
Righto guys, so we finally got our last piece of material for these Hitachi cylinder barrels we're working on. It has been a massive delay. The customer is screaming at me to get these done. I was given a time frame on when I would have them back. It has certainly exceeded the time frame to get them bored and honed. So we are about 6 days behind at the moment. So we're just going to crack on and get this second barrel completed. So let's see how fast I can get this one done. Righto guys, so we've completed our rebarrels on our 670 boom lift cylinders. We've completed the 2 pistons. I've notified the customer, they're thrilled that these are going to be delivered back to them very, very shortly. A few people are probably going to be wondering, did the weld on the head flange shrink the barrel? It did, very, very minor. We were able to give it a quick clean up hone with our portable honing head, just powered by a Milwaukee variable speed drill. So a couple of minutes with that in the end of it, we were able to get that barrel back to size, put the finishing stones in, cleaned it up, threw the bore gauge down inside, checked everything, everything's good. The reason we didn't hone the entire barrel is our Della Pena can only reach 1500 mil at the moment. The barrels are 2 meters in length, so not gonna fit in that machine. You wouldn't want to try and hone one side then the other side because you'd end up with discrepancies and issues with being parallel. So the job's complete now. We'll get them on the ute and get them back to our customer.
Carl's doing the work today.
Righto guys, this is part 2. How you going guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. This is part 2 of our Hitachi rebarrel and piston. How you going guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. To through and settle and other pieces of material. So we're going to get, what am I saying?
I don't know.
This is part 2 of our Hitachi Excavator rebarrels. Righto guys, how you going guys?
No, righto guys.
They're also a very narrow. Righto guys, so we've completed all the machining. Duh, it's there. Shit, what's that? Really gonna have a coffee. I don't need to see what I'm doing, I just need to send it and punch it off. Let's keep mowing shit out.
Just don't put it straight in.
She said. Oh, wee. Food then. It's a necklace.
Oh.
I'll try it on.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Pretty.
Fucking sharp. Sharp as fucking buggery too. Fucking eternal struggles of cutting edge engineering.
I'm just gonna video you all day long.
So what happened is, I put this fucking thing face down, pulled the strap off it. Well, I didn't put it down face down, and it fell face down. Now I can't pick it up. That's it for this week's vid. See you next week if I get off the floor.
Wasn't ready for that. Oh my god. Were you doing that on purpose?
No. So, anxiety levels in the workshop when stuff like this is going on, when we're fitting bushes using liquid nitrogen, anxiety goes to fucking extreme. Heart palpitations. Karen needs to pee every 3 minutes. Hey!
You're a weightlifting. You're doing a workout. You're doing a workout.